Talofa lava, my name is Mua. I am currently doing the Welding Level 3 program here in Woody. The purpose of this video is just to have a discussion on my assessment 303, which is creating a dice using stainless steel material and welding using TIG. Now, before the project, the plan was, number one, understand the plan that I'm working with. If I had any questions, ask the tutor. Number two, measure and cut all the materials I need, making sure that all the sizes are correct. Number three, assemble and tack just to hold its shape. Number four, weld using TIG. And number five, drill the holes. Sounds like an amazing plan. Unfortunately, it didn't go as straightforward as that. However, I have learned a lot along the way. Two things I wanted to mainly talk about is, number one, defects. Why were there defects? And number two, repairs. How did I go about repairing those defects? Now, this is my final project, and I am very, very proud of the final project because it took a long time for me to put it together. All the sides have been repaired. There are no holes. However, before I got to this stage, there were defects, major defects. So I took some photos before. I've attached this to my assessment for marking evidence as well. But one of the before photos, I've circled some of the defects. So there's a hole on the top and there's another hole there as well. So main question I ask myself is why? Why were there holes there in the first place? The answer is the amps were too high, far too high. So it started just blowing holes through. One of the things I've learned is when you are testing amps, whatever scrap plate that you use must be the exact same thickness as the material you're using. So for example, if I'm testing the amps on a thicker material, so it might be okay then because it takes some time for it to melt down. Where if I'm using that same amps on a thinner material, or the material I use in the project, it's just gonna blow holes through. So definitely made a note for myself on that going forward. So how did I go about repairing the holes? I had to use filler wire to make sure that there are no holes there. So working with the filler wire was definitely a skill that took some time to master, and it was very interesting as well. What had happened, I had to grind down a few times because I put in too much filler wire, so there was a lump there, so I created more defects. However, what I've noted for myself going forward is just being patient, adjusting the shade of a welding helmet to make sure I can see well, and also just being patient and just take time to look at that puddle. So once I saw the puddle was there, then I'll add in the filler wire and taking time, looking at it very closely, seeing it melt. So, and just playing around with that. So take time to see it melt and then move that melted wire, melted wire a little bit to the top of the hole and then the bottom of the hole, and just a little bit going through almost like a weaving motion, a C weaving motion, and just being patient and trusting the process, because adjusting the shade of my helmet was enabling me to see clearly. Then I was able to see the motion or the welding process happening, and yeah, so at the end I was able to see the same weld length throughout the one side to the other side, and also just see that the filler wire has been melted nicely, so there were no lumps. The shape was a lot nicer and cleaner as well. And yeah, if you look over the box, there's only one side. Not sure if that's that side. There's only one side I did not add any filler wire in, and that's the side. And one of the major difference that you can see is this side is a lot shinier, and you can see the wow beads a lot clearer. Reason being is when I tap the this side of the box, the sides were touching each other, so that way I was just fusing going through, meaning I was just mounting this side of the metal to the other side of the metal and then moving in a C motion, so that way I was creating the wow beads. Unfortunately, towards the end there were holes. That's because the sides weren't touching each other, so I was blowing holes through. So I had to do repairs on that side as well. When drilling, this side is a little bit concave in comparison to all other sides of the boxes, and that's because I was applying too much pressure when using the drill, and moreover the drill bit I was using was a little bit blunt, so I had to change that. Just be patient when I'm going through with it. So as a result, learning from this side, I was able to save all the other sides of the boxes. So that's the only side that's concave. However, as I said before, those trials and error, I'll definitely take on board the lessons I have learned, just so that I'll be able to work smarter and to work better in other projects going forward. But yeah, it was very interesting to learn, take, love the experience. Thank you very much. So far so far.